alaikum. My name is Nazir Rasool. My group number is 19. I am from 4th Prof Morning, and today the topic of my presentation for the pharmacy practice 602 is myocardial infarction, in which the subtopic that I have got is ACE inhibitors, which are the angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. So let's start our presentation. First of all, a very brief introduction for the myocardial infarction. That what basically myocardial infarction is. It is most commonly known as a heart attack that occurs when the blood flow decreases or stops to a part of the heart that causes damage to the heart muscle. Now, why the heart muscle is being damaged? Because of the presence of an embolus or a thrombus that results in atherosclerosis and occlusion of the coronary artery. Now, coronary artery is the artery that brings the blood or sends the blood towards the heart. Now, if that artery gets a thrombus or embolus inside it, so the amount of blood that reaches to the heart becomes less, and the amount of blood that reaches to the heart is directly proportional to the amount of oxygen that reaches to the heart. So, the amount of oxygen also reaches to the heart is less. So that part of the heart, it becomes the ischemic zone, means the one that is deprived of oxygen, and ultimately it leads to other cardiovascular events. So this is a very brief introduction of myocardial infarction, and the most common symptoms of myocardial infarction are the chest pain or the discomfort that may travel into the shoulder, the arm, back, neck, or even jaw. Then let's come towards the next part, that is my main topic, which is the ACE inhibitors, the angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. Now, what are angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors basically? These are the class of the drugs which are used to treat the high blood pressure and the congestive heart failure. Both. They treat the both, and they are also used sometimes in certain patients for the treatment of the kidney diseases. Not basically the treatment, but the prevention of kidney diseases. So what these drugs do is, these drugs dilates the blood vessels and then lowers the blood pressure by inhibiting the actions of the angiotensin converting enzyme, and this enzyme that regulates the blood pressure. Now, how this enzyme works and what happens is, I have added a picture of the renin angiotensin system. That is basically for understanding the mechanism of action of the ACE inhibitors. We first have to understand the renin angiotensin system, or which is more commonly known as renin angiotensin aldosterone system, or the RAS system. Now, what is the RAS system? RAS is a very complex system that is responsible for regulating the body's blood pressure. In the diagram, we can easily see that the kidney is releasing an enzyme that is known as renin, and the liver is releasing an enzyme that is known as angiotensinogen. All right. Now, what happens that the renin is released in response to the low blood volume, the low salt or sodium contents level, or the high potassium levels, whereas the angiotensinogen that is synthesized in the liver, it is the main substrate for the renin. Now, what happens is that the renin catalyzes the angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1, and then the ACE, means the angiotensin converting enzyme, it then converts the angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2, and this angiotensin 2 is responsible for narrowing of the arteries that results in high blood pressure in a person. And what we are using antihypertensive drugs. ACE inhibitors are the antihypertensive drugs that reduces the blood pressure. Now, what ACE inhibitors do, the ACE inhibitors, they act upon this angiotensin 2 and reduces our blood pressure. And then another thing is there, that is the aldosterone. Now, what is the work of the aldosterone? We look at here, if we look at here, we got to know that ACE inhibitors, they stimulate the dilation of the blood vessels by inhibiting the production of the angiotensin 2. All right. Now, the major organs that the ACE inhibitors affects are the kidneys, the blood vessels, the adrenal glands, brain, and the heart. Now, the inhibitory effects, they leads to the increased sodium and the urine excreted. Now, so reduce resistance in the kidney blood vessels, which increases the venous capacity, and then decreased cardiac output, the stroke work, and the volume. So So this is a very brief introduction, or I could say the mechanism of action of the ACE inhibitors. Then we'll come towards our next slide that tells us about the indications that where we have to give the ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are indicated in the hypertension, in the heart failure disease, and in the diabetes. Then comes the effects of the ACE inhibitors. That what are the effects of the ACE inhibitors? The first two effects, which are the reduce angiotensin 2 levels and reduce vasoconstriction and aldosterone secretion, we have already discussed in the RAS system that the ACE inhibitors, they act upon the angiotensin 2 and reduces the blood pressure. Whereas it also reduces the vasoconstriction, means it promotes the vasodilation, and it also acts on the aldosterone system and ultimately reduces our blood pressure. Now the third point, that is the increased bradykinin. Now what is bradykinin and what is the work of bradykinin in lowering the blood pressure? For this we should understand that what is its mechanism. Now ACE, it is also involved in the breakdown of the bradykinin, that is a vasodilator. Basically ACE inhibitors, they block the breakdown of the bradykinin that causes the levels of the protein to rise, and the blood vessels then widens, means the blood vessels then vasodilate. So increased bradykinin levels are responsible for the most, but now we got to know that increased bradykinin level will causes the vasodilation, but there are many side effects of bradykinin too, means we'll study them later. I'll tell you the side effects in the next slide. So so what is the benefit of the increased bradykinin? The bradykinin increases, if there will be increased bradykinin, there will be decreased blood pressure. Then the pharmacokinetics, the toxicities and interaction. ACE inhibitors are mostly taken by the oral route, means they are in the solid dosage form, that is the tablet. Then the toxicities are the most common toxicity that is associated with ACE inhibitor is a dry irritating cough. Now this dry irritating cough is due to the inflammatory compounds such as the bradykinin. As we know that it increases the levels of bradykinin, so when the level of bradykinin increases in the hypertensive patient, so the hypertensive patient may experience a dry and irritating cough because of this inflammatory compound. Secondly, it also causes angioedema. The angioedema is mostly seen under the skin. Obviously angioedema is the swelling of the skin, and it is also due to the intake of the ACE inhibitors. And then we come to know up towards the interactions. It causes hyperkalemia. Hyperkalemia means the elevated potassium levels in the blood. It causes the renal impairment and the teratogenic effects. Teratogenic effects are the effects which develop to the fetus. So there are some of the patient may develop some of the pregnant women may develop teratogenic effect, and hyperkalemia is also seen because aldosterone, that is a sex hormone, it regulates the excretion of the potassium in the kidneys by the help of the urine. So ACE inhibitors lowers the levels of aldosterone and thereby promoting potassium retention in the kidneys and the bloodstream. That is why it causes hyperkalemia, that is elevated level of the potassium. Then I have added the examples of the ACE inhibitors. Basically ACE inhibitors are classified into two main classes, which is the short acting ACE inhibitors and long acting ACE inhibitors. Short acting ACE inhibitors are the ones that have the duration of the action, that have their duration of action short, and long acting ACE inhibitors have duration of action long. So there are examples also, means the lisinopril, that is a long acting ACE inhibitor, it is just giving once daily, whereas the captopril, that is a short acting ACE inhibitors, it is given thrice daily. So the benefit of long acting is that there is less frequent dosing now, so it is more beneficial than the one that is short acting, so we have to give it 3 times daily. So the patient compliance, we also have to look at the patient compliance too. Other than the lisinopril and captopril, we have other ACE inhibitors that includes the enalapril, the fosinopril, the captopril, and moxapril, quinapril, and so on. Then I have added a case study on the administration or on the use of the ACE inhibitors or the myocardial infarction. And according to the case study, there is a patient named JR, is a 58-year-old man with a medical history of elevated low density lipoprotein levels and well controlled chronic stable angina, experiencing less than one angina attack per month, secondary to coronary artery diseases. He presents to his primary care physician for a follow up appointment after his blood pressure was found to be 165 by 94 millimeter mercury at his annual physical exam. At today's visit, JR's BP is found to be 166 by 93 millimeter of mercury, resulting in a diagnosis of hypertension. JR is currently on atorvastatin 40 mg daily and metoprolol tartrate 100 mg twice daily, and he reports no adverse effects from either medication. He has no other medical history of note, and his resting heart rate is 65 to 70 beats per minute. JR's physician would like to start him on a new medication to help control his BP and calls the pharmacy for advice. What would be an appropriate BP goal for JR, and how would you help him achieve it? Now, when I looked at the case, I got to know that the patient chief complaint is hypertension, as he has been recently diagnosed with hypertension with a BP of 166 by 93 millimeter of mercury, and the patient has already a history of he is a hyperlipidemic patient, means he has elevated low density lipoproteins, for which he is taking currently atorvastatin 40 milligram daily, and also he is experiencing less than one angina attack per month, that is secondary to the coronary artery disease, and for that he is also taking a medicine, that is metoprolol tartrate 100 milligram twice daily. He is male and 58 years old male, and he hasn't shown any side effect or adverse effect by these two medications, that is the atorvastatin and metoprolol. So the next, that is the objective of my case study, or my soap note. The objective is, when I look at his physical examination, so I got to know that his blood pressure was 165 by 94 millimeter of mercury at his physical annual exam. But when today I got to check his blood pressure, so it has somewhat elevated to 166 by 93 millimeter of mercury. Now, it showing that the his blood pressure is increasing gradually, slowly and gradually. So we have to look at here and focus on here. The vital signs, the resting heart rate is very normal, that is 65 to 70 beats per minute, and blood pressure, as I have told you earlier, that is 166 by 93 millimeter of mercury. Then the assessment. Now what I have seen, that the patient is already on a antihypertensive drug, that is metoprolol, which belongs to the class of the beta blockers, and he has shown no adverse effects by the metoprolol. So I would not recommend any other beta blocker to him, as he is already on a beta blocker. And first of all, my main goal is to maintain his blood pressure up to less than 140 by 90 millimeter of mercury, because 166 by 93 is very high and very hypertensive, very hypertension is seen. So first goal is to reduce it, and how I will reduce, I'll not recommend beta blocker, as he is already on beta blocker. So I'll start the therapy, or I'll add the ACE inhibitor, that is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, to his regimen. Or if he shows any kind of allergy or any dry cough or irritation, so I'll then go for an ARB, that is angiotensin receptor blocker, and then I'll follow up with the thiazide or thiazide like diuretic if it will be necessary. But first I'll just add an ACE inhibitor to his regimen. All right. So my plan is to add an ACE inhibitor to the patient's current medication regimen. That is, I'll start with lisinopril, that is a long acting ACE inhibitor, lisinopril 5 mg, the shortest dose of the, or the smallest dose of lisinopril, that is 5 mg once daily. And other than that, he is already on a beta blocker. I'll not change that. He is taking atorvastatin for his cholesterol levels. I'll not change that too. So but other than that, some lifestyle modification is also needed as his bp is elevating now. So for that, I'll recommend him to have a low salt content diet, as salt will increase, or high sodium levels will increase his blood pressure. Other than that, healthy exercises are very much needed, especially in the morning, to maintain a healthy life and good quality of life. And he should also reduce the intake of the fat in his diet, as the fats will cause a lot of thrombosis and embolosis in his coronary artery, and that may lead to other cardiovascular events. And then cessation of smoking is very much necessary. If he starts to smoke, so blood pressure will ultimately increase. So our goal or our medication will not then be effective. He should have less intake of caffeine, and he should have more intake of fruits and vegetables. That will promote a good healthy balanced diet for him. Other than that, he should not take a lot of stress. And The main and the most important thing is that he should monitor his bp every week. Monitoring of the blood pressure is very much necessary to see that are the medicines affecting him or not. So I'll write this medication for 3 months, and after 3 months I'll again check his blood pressure and all the related constituents, and then we'll further go towards other medication, antihypertensive drugs. So this is my case study, and thank you.